Motor Speedway. They're lean, they're mean, they're 5 to 7 horses, a man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. The Coast to Coast Racing League 350A Modifieds, Pro Late Models, and the 360 Sprint Cars.
We are live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman here with Shaggy TV, and we're bringing you week 1 of Old Timer Tuesdays. The 360 Sprint Cars at the Lernerville Speedway play first, and they're presented by Maurer Farm Management. And then, well, Shaggy's got a lot of... I was just editing cameras. I'm actually going to edit one more. I hate doing that right at the beginning, but I didn't get it done in time. But it's the Masked Avenger, I believe, sponsors the truck series. If I was Masked Avenger Racing, I believe. But I will double check that and take a look here. But I want to... Sorry, the more I learn here, I want to make that... Let's see here. Shaggy's... Sorry, my apologies. I promise this isn't going to happen throughout the year. You know me better than that. But we want to... Okay, that is aim type static. Why doesn't it want to do that? Let's do that. Let's see if that does it. I want to enable this camera to stay here. That's what I'm leading to whenever cars even pull off the field. I don't like it when it shifts up to the blimp. That's what I was trying to do. Like doing my intros here, but man, it was going to be a good season. Once again here, Greg Boydell, I believe, won the dirt side of things, and Terry Landis won the asphalt side of things. I know they were each champion. It could be vice versa. Each of them won one thing. I don't see Greg Boydell here this evening. We do have 13 drivers registered. Let's see here. Do we have a shot of... Well, the light pole's in the way, but we do have Bob Curtis in the 012 here with us tonight.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody
Shaggy
tonight.
forgot to turn off the voice chat because Shaggy did a little bit of racing last night and today. And, well, good thing Mr. Bixler is a good gentleman here. And, well, actually, speaking of Mr. Bixler, I told him... You know, maybe here in between races, I'll run back and put it on. Because to be honest, Shaggy was slipping a little bit here. My grandmother, not to get into it too much, hasn't been doing that well. And I've been taking care of her during the day, so wasn't really home much today. And my wife was still working as of a little bit ago. So I didn't run back to the bedroom to grab it. But man, Steven Bixler gave Shaggy the best Christmas gift he could ask for here. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's a signed item, and we'll show it. We'll show it to you here before we go asphalt racing. I'll go pull it on, but it's a very nice surprise from the mayor, and was excited to open that package yesterday. The Desert Demon here. I look for another good run out of him. He looked good last night in the A-Series. He blew by me. Oh, he didn't look that good there, running into 3. Sat the camera there to sit and watch his entry. He almost jumped the cushion. Let's see if he can smooth that out. Maybe he was running a little bit too high on entry. Floated that right where he's going to go right back up there again. This one looks a lot better. Real smooth for the 161. And that's what I expect to see out of him tonight. I think he's going to be a contender for a win. You got to think about the 79 car. The 87, Andy Patton, is really good. He's really fast as well. Let's see, here's Andy shifting his wing back there a little bit. Or it may have just uploaded, or maybe he's moving the wing, getting ready to go. But Andy Patton in the 87, he is going to be a guy to keep your eye on, that's for sure. So Roger Craig makes his way into the room just in time here as it rolls over. So we have 14 drivers registered. We'll see how many hit the track for qualifying here at the Lernerville Speedway. Oh, that's right. Shaggy, man, he slacks. We only qualify in the asphalt. It's random draw here for the heats. So let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the starting grid for heat race number 1. Inside of row number 4 in the 531, that's Armando Melgoza. Outside of row number 3 in the 87, it's the General Andy Patton. And to his inside in the 888, Steve Maurer. John Rayner takes the 302 and lines up on the outside of row number 2. And to his inside in the 325, Old Willie Bill Calder. Row number 1 for heat race number 1. Starting on the outside of the front row in the 747, that's the Bass Man, Roger Craig. And to his inside in the 161, Old Smoky, the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. So we'll see here. Drivers moving on up now. Probably we're waiting for some cars to grid. Some didn't make it, I'd imagine, here. So we'll see. Actually, 2 drivers looks like didn't make the call. Bill Calder and John Rayner. So hopefully we see them in the feature. But I'll move Andy Patton up 2 rows on the outside. Or 1 row, excuse me. 1 row. He's supposed to start in row number 3, so not too much of a change here as we roll through 3 and 4. You see the Steve King Foundation pace truck pull off. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 6 laps to play at Lernerville Speedway. The Desert Demon slams it low into turn 1. Can he slide up in front of Roger? That's an easy answer, yes. Roger Craig looking at the back of the 161. You got to think. Him and Dino, early favorites here as there's contact in the back. Armando gets into Andy Patton. Armando goes around. Terry Landis trying to pull away out in front, but the Bass man won't let him. Roger Craig doing a good job of sticking around there when I kind of jinxed him. Loses the rear end through 3 and 4, and all of a sudden he becomes bait here to the 888. He throws it in. Man, they get close. No contact, but the battle's on for P2. Let's go off that front nose here, Steve Maurer. Let's see what it looks like. Doing a good job. I mean, he's got that nose set. Maybe straightens it up a little too early, and you see he was too tight on exit. Couldn't floor it. Had the baby out the throttle there. And Andy Patton, after being in the early trouble, he was running down the 888 of Steve Maurer. But we just saw that hiccup there through 3 and 4. I assume there's some damage on that 87. Pretty hard hit. But as Terry Landis sails it off into turn 3 and 4 for the final time, he sees the checkered flag, and he's going to start on the pole for tonight's main event here at the Lernerville Speedway. Roger Craig, Steve Maurer, Andy Patton, Armando Melgoza, Bill Calder, and John Rayner will take the inside rows, or the inside of the rows here at the start of the feature. Row number 2. Heat number 2 on the inside of row number 4 in the 055. That's Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr. Outside of row number 3 in the 4, Greg Parmalee. And to his inside in the 70, Mike Cramner. The mayor, Steve Bixler, lines up on the outside of row number 2 into his inside in the 79, Dean Reynolds. Starting on the front row here for tonight's heat race number 2, we have the 25 of Gary Sigelkow to the outside, into the inside in the 012. Bob Curtis. Good to have Bob back. He had a bit of a health scare a couple months ago, and it's good to have Bob back here racing with us nice and healthy. He gets ready to lead the field to the green flag as we got 6 laps to play in the clay at Lernerville Speedway. We're underway. Oh, contact right away. Oh, Dino wanted to drive in a little harder than Bob may be comfortable with. And now Dino, he's got to remember that. May have to lose a spot here. Shift up to the high side or duck inside. But right now, that 79 with nowhere to go. He throws a slide job. Steve Bixler goes off, and I'll tell you what, uncharacteristic for the mayor. The mayor was real fast last night in the Rebels races. He made Shaggy dig hard, but early contact there between the 012 of Bob Curtis and I believe either Brian Moore Sr. or Gary Sigelkow. I couldn't really tell, but Dean Reynolds leading the way, and Shaggy, his 2 early favorites, Terry Landis and Dean Reynolds. They're looking like they're going to be starting on the front row, or can Brian Moore Sr. do something about it? He started at the tail end of the pack. Look at this 055 come. He's got a rocket ship. Dean trying to protect that outside through 3 and 4 as we sail off into turn 1 and 2. Brian Moore Sr. looks to the inside. White flag, final time through 3 and 4. Brian Moore Sr. throws it in low, completes the slide job on Dino, and Brian Moore Sr. wins heat race number 2. What a move by Brian Moore Sr. here. Can we take one more peek at it before it kicks us out of it? And he just parks it on the nose of that 79, and he's going to start on the front row for tonight's feature here at the Lernerville Speedway. Gary Sigelkow, Greg Parmalee, Mike Cramner round out the field there as we get ready to take a quick warm-up break. Stick around and we'll be right back with our feature here at the Lernerville Speedway. Stick around. We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. A little over 20 seconds left here in warm-ups, and Shaggy's going to toot his own horn again. Because, man, I think Brian Moore Sr., he may have been the only one I didn't mention, but 3 out of the top 4. And if I didn't mention Brian Moore Sr., that's shame on me, because I call him Mr. Wednesday Night for a reason. He's on the podium almost every Hometown Hero sprint car race. It's pretty unbelievable. He's really good in the fixed 360, and with this being a fixed setup race, should translate very well for him. Here is, you get ready to take a look at the starting grid for tonight's main event presented by Mauer Farm Management. Let's take a look at our starting lineup. Starting on the outside of row number 7 in the 75, that's the Mayor, Steve Bixler. And to his inside in the 302, John Rayner. The 012 of Bob Curtis lines up on the outside of row number 6. And to his inside in the 325, that's Willie Bill Calder. Mike Cramner to the outside of row number 5 in the 70 machine. And to his inside in the 531, Armando Melgoza. Greg Parmalee takes the 4 on the outside of row number 4, and to his inside in the 87, the General Andy Patton. Outside of row number 3 in the 25, Gary Sigelkow, and to his inside in the 888, Steve Mauer. Row number 2 to the outside in the 79, Dino Dean Reynolds. And to his inside in the 747, the Bassman Roger Craig. Starting on the front row for tonight's feature event here at the Lernerville Speedway, to the outside in the 055, Brian Moore Sr., and his inside in the 161, Old Smoky, the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. Whoops, his Shaggy clicks the wrong overlay. My apologies. It's a little NASCAR style there for us. We're going to stick to the tower here tonight. Well, I guess, no, come to think of it here, I guess a lot of the dirt ones do use the top ticker, but I don't know. I've always preferred being able to see where my driver is at all times. I don't know if you're out there watching. Let us know who you're rooting for. We got Bob the Good out in the chat box tonight. Let me know. Do we want a top ticker or do we want the tower? Shaggy can always change. As we roll through 3 and 4 for the final time, the Desert Demon's going to wait for that green flag to fly. And he's going to drop the hammer. 25 laps to play at the Lernerville Speedway. We're underway. The Desert Demon's going to stay right down to the basement. And then, well, hey, no, he's not. Shaggy's going to go to the top. I'm really surprised. Terry loves shopping downstairs. He left the door open for Brian Moore Sr. Thought the slide job was coming. He lifted out the throttle, and here comes the 79. Dean Reynolds, he's got a hot rod here tonight. Dino trying to carry as much speed as he can here. And, well, another terrible camera. Let's go in the cockpit here. We want a good view. They really changed the iRacing sound, and you can hear drivers complaining about it if you go into race rooms. It sounds really different in the cockpit. I think they kind of give you an earplug realization sound now. You don't really get to hear the sound of the cars. You hear me more, but this is what it sounds like for us racing in the car now, a little insider. But these top 3, Dean Reynolds looks to the outside, but we're under caution for the first time. Mike Kramer in the 70 involved in our first accident. Let's see if he got a little bit of help here. Somebody's already got a pretty damaged front wing. Okay, so yeah, this already happened by the time iRacing caught the wreck here. So he just gets sideways. The 531, he had gotten sideways on entry, so he was in the middle of 3 and 4. He couldn't really go anywhere. And with that, loop around. The caution comes out. Oh, and Mike, I think, just was going to pull it in the infield possibly because he's got the damage, maybe lock the brakes up, and all of a sudden, Andy Patton, oh, man. The general, he's going to be pretty upset after that one, I'd think. Ryan Moore Sr., though, able to jump out to the lead here early with a slider on the Desert Demon. And we'll have to see if he can hold off that lead. I look for Dean Reynolds to make a charge here. He's going to make him work for it, that's for sure. He's gotten really good in the wing. I mean, we saw last season he won, I think, over half the dirt races he was in. He just missed a lot of the season. So we'll have to see here. We're going double file here. Brian Moore Sr. taking the outside. So advantage to the Bassman Roger Craig here. He's got to use it. You know, as soon as the leader goes, you'll be able to go here. And let's see, the Steve King Foundation pace truck pulls off. Brian Moore Sr.'s up there in the attack. He fires the Desert Demon a little late to the party, and all of a sudden, Dean Reynolds got his hand full with that 747, but Roger Craig just doesn't have that run that Dino's got off the top, and going to stay down there. Feels comfortable with that grip. You have way more grip in the center of the corner, but definitely not always the fastest way around here at the Lernerville Speedway. So we see Andy Patton try to race his way back up to the front. The general involved in that unfortunate incident after the caution had come out. I know the 84 or the 87 machine's quick, but he doesn't have a whole bunch of time as Terry Landis going downstairs. Brian Moore shuts the door. Man, oh man, and with 17 laps to go, you want to make sure, and you know, I don't know, maybe that's just the comfortable line, but you don't want to get too aggressive here and pinch someone off, even when you see that, you know, coming, possibly your mirror. Don't know if you're running the mirror, but gotta be smart here. There's a long way to go, not even halfway yet here at the Lernerville Speedway. Bill, I see you wrote something in the chat. It's on a totally different monitor. I'm going to have to read what you said. I know that you were talking about... Ah, man, you just don't have the strength yet. Well, Bill, we're glad that you could come in and at least try it out, man. And, you know, practice makes perfect. You keep pumping at it. Use that as the weight bench, brother. We'll get you back out here as the bass man. I saw him get a little sideways in 3 and 4, but we got to go back to this. Here we go. You could have put them under a blanket in the middle of 1 and 2. Oh, man, Bob Curtis goes around in 3 and 4. And a late caution. Oh, that could have been bad here for the field. Let's see. The software actually caught the beginning of this one, I think. Now look at this. He bounces off. Whoa, man. Terry just misses that. That was a close call, but... all's good here at the Lernerville Speedway as we're over halfway. Once again, if you're out there watching, thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Feel free to go to Shaggy TV on Facebook or YouTube and do the same thing here. Spread the love here. Brian Moore Sr., I believe. Let's click up here. Yeah, we're going to see those lights. The Steve King Foundation pace car off. And we're going to get ready to go back racing here this time. Have to see if Dean Reynolds or Terry Landis can try to dethrone Brian Moore Sr. here. Not going to be easy to do as Brian drops the hammer. We're back underway. 12 laps to play. Dino with a power slide job, taking advantage of that restart. And he moves on up into P2, but Terry Landis going back home where he's comfortable in the bottom through 3 and 4. He looks for the spot but can't grab it. Dean Reynolds looking good on the outside, but can he run down that 558 of Brian Moore Sr.? Not going to be easy. Brian Moore Sr. very fast, and the man's been smooth right now. So, I mean, let's be honest, without some help, I don't know if Dino's going to be able to get this one. Dino may like the challenge here. He may be listening. Let's see. He's inching closer, and he's got plenty of time. Do we see him move through 1 and 2? No, he stays up on the top shelf where he's comfortable. Dean Reynolds making the money through 3 and 4. Look at him really, man. He just yanks up on the rod, pulls him in, and he throws the hook in right here through 1 and 2. Can he stick it down the backstretch? Brian Moore Sr. to the inside. Senior, does he throw a late slide job? No, he leaves the lane open, and Dean Reynolds leads with 6 laps to go. Dino sails it in once again in 3 and 4, and this is where he can't turn the wick down. He's got to stay fast through 3 and 4. You can't play it safe, for Brian Moore Sr.'s going to come back and try to get one more piece. 4 laps to go for the 79. Dean Reynolds is the general. We talked about him earlier. He's finally driven his way back up to where he started, and now +1. The general involved in that early accident, showing he's got a fast car here tonight, but just running out of time, hoping for a late race caution. But up front, this man, Dean Reynolds, he wants that green flag to stay high. 2 more laps at the Lernerville Speedway. Can Dino hang on, or can Brian Moore Sr. come back for one more shot? Dean Reynolds looking good on the top of 3 and 4 as the white flag flies. Brian Moore Sr. just running out of time. Here's the checkered flag waves. Dino takes the checkers at the Lernerville Speedway, followed by Brian Moore Sr., Terry Landis, Roger Craig, Steve Maurer rounding out your top 5. The General, Andy Patton 6th, Armando 7th, Gary 8th, Mike Cramner 9th, and Steven Bixler, the Mayor, rounds out the top 10, the rest of your field. Greg Parmley, Bob Curtis, John Rayner, and Willie, I know you said you were tired, but you get credit here. In my eyes, a P14 for Bill Calders. Man, oh man, Dean Reynolds turned it on there at the end. He got a little glimpse, and that's all that 79 needed. Able to take advantage and able to bring home the checkered flag here at the Lernerville Speedway. Let's see if we can get a word here with the 161, Terry Landis. Where is he at as Shaggy hops over here? He's already up here waiting for me. Terry not messing around this year. You were up here quicker than I could unmute myself, Terry. That was a good one, man. You're used to getting on the podium now. It seemed like, you were comfortable there, but it kind of like I was in that Renegades race last night. You were quicker when that track was gripping up at the bottom, but just seemed like you needed to be at the top at the end.
Yeah, the top was way faster than the bottom, but I'm more comfortable at the bottom. I put up there a couple times, but just got too squirrely for me. So yeah, congrats to Dean. He put on a heck of a show. And Mr. Pops, oh my God, brain fart.
Brian Moore Sr. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he runs good. Yeah, we have
Yeah.
a lot of fun sometimes.
Yeah, what are you thinking there? Yeah, you get out to the lead early, but that slide, or, he acts like he's going to throw that slider in 3 and 4. He gets you to check out of the throttle. And from then on, it just seemed like you were playing chase. If you could go back and play it over again, do you drop the hammer coming off the top and 4?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, the bottom was coming in, but it was too tacky yet, believe it or not. You had to lift. You couldn't get on the throttle right away. You had to lift, or it would have put the front end right into the wall.
Yeah, it just tightens it up so much whenever you
Yeah.
pick up that throttle. But Terry, as well as any of them, misses a long season, and you're a points racer, dude. Starting off with a podium, that's a great way to kick off the year. Congratulations, brother. Who you want to thank?
Thanks, Shaggy, for you, of course, and Maurer Farm Management for giving us place to race, and C2C for the same thing, and Kreitzel Track Parts, and Galen's Homegrown Popcorn, 15% off if you put the word, what is Shaggy?
Code CART. CART.
Yeah, and then you and my wife, Judy.
Well, congratulations, Terry. Good run here, man, and hopefully I talk to you after some laps at Daytona.
That'll be a fun one. I hope so.
All right, good luck, brother.
Thanks.
And now we pull up Mr. Wednesday Night himself. Brian, you led the way here for half the show, but Dino just got the best of you there at the end. If you go back and look at it, could you do anything different, or the best driver won tonight?
I think he just, when the track topside in 3 and 4 was really getting thin. And when it gets that thin, I have trouble hitting it real good. And I think Dino, he was hitting it a lot better than I was. But other than that, there wasn't much else I could have done. And because of what happened earlier, I thought, man, when he catches me and he showed me a wheel, I thought, man, if nothing else, I want to run him clean. I don't want to get into him.
No, yeah, and we talked about that, and you did a good job of it because, you started running that middle in 1 and 2. You were just showing him, hey, man, I'm not going to let you throw that early slider, but you're giving him plenty of room, and that's the kind of sprint car racing you look forward to every weekend at your local track. That was good racing, man.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun. I like running with Dean because, man, we ended up together side by side on the track a lot, and we have some good races together. We'll go back and forth, and sometimes it's just cool running with someone like that because you can run so close and so hard. And like he said in the waiting room there, that man, we worked hard. We worked hard to get. He worked hard to get that win, and I worked hard to hold him off. It just didn't work for me. But man, it's fun. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, dip into that a little bit more, Brian. I mean, I know, from driving here, but I mean, it's not just physical. I mean, how hard is it mentally to go up there and hit that outside perfect here, just knowing you don't have a wall to save your butt?
Yeah, and it just takes getting in there a little too hard, and man, you put your right rear right up on the edge of that thing. And you get in there just a little too hard and you're over it. And a lot of times I'll enter it hard, but I'm hitting the brakes, trying to woe the car down just to keep it on the track. And sometimes I might be doing that a little too much because I think that's where they're catching me up there later on in the race. But yeah, it's real sketchy up there. And 1 and 2 is kind of the same way, but 1 and 2's a little more forgiving because you can get a heck of a run staying up on the top coming down the back straightaway.
Yeah, well, and you know the deal here, maybe playing it a little conservative here, but Brian, this is we're points racing here, and if you can rack up a bunch of P2s, it's going to be real hard to beat that 055 this season. So congratulations, my man. Good run, and who do you want to thank, brother?
I want to thank you guys for putting this show on and broadcasting it and everything. Scooby, you're real good at this. And Meyer Farms, want to thank them for sponsoring tonight. And I'll give Rona and Rick a shout out, and the guys in SRC Discord. And just coast to coast racing, man. Letting us come out here and race.
Well, hey,
3 or 4 a week. This is fun, man. I love it.
Yeah, man. And, I love talking to you. And Mr. Wednesday night, hopefully I'm talking to you tomorrow night, brother. Good luck.
Well, yeah, thanks for that, man. I won't keep my hopes up, but because there's, a lot of fast guys in there. So we'll see how it goes this year.
I know I know better than to think that 055 ain't going to get some podiums. So I'll be rooting for you tomorrow, brother.
All right. Thanks a lot, Shaggy.
That's your P2 finisher, Brian Moore Sr. And, well, I got a little bit of oxygen left here for this guy, Dean Reynolds. I picked you to win, and boy, oh boy, you came through for me. Good run, man.
Boy, that was a lot of fun. And I tell you what, I'm glad the track was set for nighttime, and I think they probably did that on purpose because, as you know, we got this dust problem with iRacing, thinking they can make it really like real life. But last I checked, it's not that dusty in real life. So I'm glad they did it nighttime, which played into my hands a little bit because I had a top side where I can really just sail it and keep the foot to the floor, and it settled right into my wheelhouse. Because the last time I was here, Terry Landis schooled all of us running that bottom, him and Jeff Barker. I mean, I was just watching him walk away from me. So the track was a little bit of what I like, and we had a great race. Terry was hanging right there in the bottom like he always does, and that restart where Brian took the inside helped me because then I can get to jump on Terry and get in front of him, and then we just did our thing on the top. And it was funny. Me and Brian were talking about the slider, and we talked about it yesterday because he got me twice in the B main, and nothing on purpose or anything. But I did say to him, I go, "You got something against my yellow car?" So we were joking around like that, and then I said to him, I go, "When I pulled my slider, I damn well better make sure I do this clean, or else I'm going to be a hypocrite here." And but we had a lot of fun. I mean, me and Brian, yes, Brian said in the interview, even though we're a little on in years, it seems like we're always next to each other in the races, and we're giving these young chaps a run for their money on Wednesdays and a little bit on Mondays and stuff. And we're just glad to race each other. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you guys put on a good, clean show. You showed him that nose there in 1 and 2, and then he started to, kind of pinch you off a little bit, but he kept it clean, and he made you work hard. Good run tonight, Dino. Before I kick you out of here, man, who you want to thank?
Well, I got to thank, of course, I got to thank my teammates, the Full Throttle Motorsports guys. They don't do a lot of sprint car racing, as I mentioned before, and especially to fix stuff. but they still help out, and then I'm glad actually they don't do a lot of sprint car racing, because when they do, they still beat me and and just make me eat crow a little bit. And but I got to thank those guys, a lot of fun there. Got to thank Steve Maurer and Maurer Farm Management for coming back again for another season. I think he's been sponsoring Coast to Coast for how many years? Probably longer than I've been in it. So we got to thank him, because with his monetary donation to Coast to Coast, Shaggy, you're here. I know you only charge like 32 cents a telecast, but we still got to pay you, and we're thankful for that. But just thanks to have a little place to play on Tuesday night, have some fun with some guys a little bit my age, and like I said, I wish I could stay and run for points, but I think losing the next 2 weeks, and I'm actually going to be home, is going to hurt, and then I'm going to lose 2 weeks when I go to Volusia in February. So. But we're going to keep on trying and see where it comes out. And maybe a couple other guys will have some family stuff and they might not make it. Maybe we can sneak one out of here.
Well, hey, great run tonight, Dino. And, you get the 2 drop weeks. You keep winning these things. Man, who knows, man. Congratulations. Great run. And I'll be rooting for you here the rest of the season.
All right, Shaggy. Thanks a lot. And, I think I'll be in the field tomorrow. We'll give a heck for Hometown Heroes as well.
All righty, brother. Good luck.
Thanks, Shaggy. Take care, man.
You as well. We're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network after Dean Reynolds takes the Maurer Farm Management dirt side of things for the Old Timer Tuesdays, and we get ready to go play on the asphalt for a little bit at Daytona. We're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we'll be right back with more action after these words.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a
bit of a hiatus, so let's get tonight when we talked about it.
these dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
Alrighty, take 2 here. Shaggy didn't unmute himself. We are back alive on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman here with Shaggy TV. We're about to bring you some Truck Series action at the Daytona International Speedway presented by Masked Avenger Racing. Going to be going 25 laps here this evening. Right now, Mike Cramner, your quickest truck in the field, but you know, at Daytona, you're not doing anything by yourself. You're going to need a friend. So you don't want to make anybody mad at you in practice. That's should be your goal here. And, well, Shaggy just realized I registered as a driver, didn't I? So I'm going to mute the broadcast here real quick, and I got to go tell them to disqualify me. Man, Shaggy hasn't done that in a while. Sorry, I gotta mute the audio so they don't come over the broadcast, their voices. But Shaggy doesn't do that very often. Oh my gosh, and you know what? My mind slipped. So you're gonna hear me. I'm gonna leave the broadcast on, but I made a promise. I'll be right back. Okay, so Shaggy's back right here as we get ready to roll into qualifying. We're going to pick a driver who pulls out on the track here first. It's looking like it's going to be Roger Shank in the 950 machine. But now, we're going to magically see me appear in the corner. Shaggy's going to try to pull his beard out of the way here. And where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, there I am. Now, Steve Bixler gives me a fall in love with Clarence, Iowa t-shirt. Okay, but that's not the good part. This is the good part. The mayor signed it. Signed by the mayor of Clarence, Iowa. Steve Bixler. You can't see it that good, but he signed it, the mayor. Thank you, Steven, for the early Christmas present. Shaggy absolutely loves it. We'll click this away. I'll get off your screens here. And we'll watch Roger Shank come around, get ready to start lap number 1. You know what? Actually, not a lot goes on here at Daytona. What are we going to miss? Never mind. That's the most annoying sound in the whole world. We'll go to the gyro. It's going to rotate a little bit. I don't think... Shaggy didn't do very well with these cameras here. Didn't customize them this week. They're running the trucks a lot. I've gotten a lot better with my cameras here. I'll mess around, but it's just right on board here with him. And as you see, Roger comes around there. It does take quick time as he's the first driver, but pretty good lap there, 51.29 by yourself. We'll see what other drivers do. Some drivers may have went the run the high line lap number 1. That's personally what I do. Let's see what the mayor here did. Let's see what this time looks like for Steven Bixler. Gonna put the 75 P6 for now. There's gonna be looking to go a little quicker than that here. Let's go to the starter stand. Let's see Roger Shank here as he comes across. He's quicker in sector 1, slower in sector 2. Roger not gonna improve, but let's see. Where's Greg Parmalee here? As Greg Parmalee comes around, P2. I saw a quick time coming. Mike Cramner, P3, as he goes up the board. Tim Chapman, lap number 1, P7. What's the general do? P4 as he puts in his second lap. Steven Bixler coming around to finish up. He's quicker through sector 1, slower through sector 2. The mayor moves up to P7. Let's see, here's... Follow my pops here this last half of a lap as him and Steve Maurer the only two yet to finish. Steve almost coming around here. Tim's quicker in sector 1. Had a little bit of a hiccup there through 3 and 4. But so far looking pretty good here. What's the timesheet going to say? Slower through sector 2. And Tim Chapman's going to stay P9, not going to improve. And actually, I lied. I didn't scroll down far enough. There was one more driver. We had John Rayner here in the 302. He's coming around to finish up. He's going to have a quicker lap than his opening lap, and that's because his opening lap, I'm not sure if he touched the wall or had a hiccup, but it didn't count. Lap number 2, the only lap going to count, and he's going to come home P11. As that's a wrap here on qualifying. Steve Maurer just driving slow here, waiting for this thing to get rolling here. But once again, the asphalt side of the Old Timers Tuesday presented by the Masked Avenger. Masked Avenger Racing, I believe, is the official actual name. Masked Avenger Racing. So huge shout out to them for picking up the sponsor here on the asphalt side of things this season as we get ready to go for tonight's main event on the asphalt side of things. Is let's get ready to take a look at our starting grid. You see me there. Well, ignore me. We know I'm not in the feature. There's no Zach Chapman in this race. That's not true. Outside of row number 7 in the 888, Steve Maurer. Into his inside in the 058, Jim Bowie. Outside of row number 6 in the 531, Armando Melgoza. Into his inside in the 302, John Rayner. The 161 lines up on the outside of row number 5. Into his inside in the 37, Tim Chapman. Outside of row number 4 in the 012, Bob Curtis. And to his inside, the mayor, Steve Bixler in the 75. Row number 3 to the outside in the 747, the Bassman, Roger Craig. And his inside in the 25, Gary Sigelkow. The 87 of Andy Patton lines up on the outside of row number 2, and to his inside in the 70 machine, Mike Cramner. Row number 1 at Daytona International Speedway, to the outside in the 4, Greg Parmalee, and to his inside in the 950, Roger Shank. They're probably waiting on me to grid here. So, blame me for the delay. We know that I'm not gridding. I actually probably could click the screen grid and ungrid, which would make it go a little faster for them, but we'll let them sit here and suffer. Maybe think about what they can do here throughout the night. Oh, and hey, that wasn't so bad. They must have actually just black flagged me, disqualified me. So that went pretty quick here. Got Roger Shank blinking a little bit early. Hopefully, some cars may blink every now and then under caution. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm not a tech geek. But there, like, we see another Mike Cramner blinking a little bit, and then when they go green, you don't see it as bad. I don't know what it is about the cautions, especially in the hosted races. You'll see some, it's normally just 1-2 people every now and then they'll blink, and it's most of their blinking's done under caution. Let's see here. Andy Patton, your highest I rating in the field with a 2471. So let's see if he can live up to that. See if he can bring home the checkers. But once again, anybody who knows anything about racing at the Daytona International Speedway knows that you don't do it by yourself. I mean, maybe you can put the boots on and go to work there on the last lap coming out of 3 and 4 or going down the backstretch, but it's going to be tough if you don't have help coming out of 4 to win this thing. You're going to need a partner, so you got to make sure you behave yourself. Don't make anybody too mad, and you keep that extra person in your deck of cards to help you out for later. Well, as we get ready to roll past pit road here, we're going to see that Steve King Foundation pace car pull off the racetrack, and we're going to drop the hammer and go racing at Daytona International Speedway. 25 laps to get it done. Got Mike Cramner in the 70 machine. They're ducking in line early, just following that 950, the outside line, kind of struggling. Greg Parmalee, nobody to the outside yet giving him help. And like I say, if you want to get it done, especially on the high side, gonna need that extra person. As Got Brian Moore rooting for Greg Parmalee. Good to see you in here, Brian. We appreciate it. And Shaggy's got to go in here. These NASCAR cars, much louder than the dirt. My apologies. Once again, I hate doing this. But these engines in NASCAR, holy crap. I'm going to turn them down a little bit here. So they were getting pretty aggressive in that camera. And it may actually just be Shaggy's cameras here. Is I bet you, I'm pretty sure we went through this. Now that I think about it, if we go check the broadcast from a couple weeks ago, I went through this with the trucks. I changed those camera sounds for a lap, and because we're live, I didn't save it at the end, I bet. That's what we're suffering through here. So as this thing goes on, you may see Shaggy pop that iRacing screen up and turn these cameras down so our poor eardrums don't explode here tonight. As we get ready to come across the starter stripe one more time, 2 laps in the books. And there we go. Shaggy's got to do that. It's just getting too loud here. Gonna have to bring up the camera settings. We're gonna have to, oh my gosh, that mic gain was up really, really loud. That's what did that. And now, Shaggy, we get to do that to some other cameras here. So you can be responsible. Because this thing is crazy. Like I say, my apologies. This is not my normal show. This isn't how we run things, but pretty busy man today. I didn't get to do all that I normally like to do, and see if we can't maybe see. Now, why is TV1 staying like this? Now Shaggy's cameras don't want to work at all here. As we see now, there we go. We turn that down a little bit. We turn this one down. Not sure why they aren't rotating for us. There we go. That's something that normally doesn't happen. As, man, they're starting to bounce. We're just going to ignore it here. We'll run the zoomed out camera for a little bit till we can go under caution and tweak this. They're running too wide the whole way through the field. We saw the 37 bouncing a little bit of Tim Chapman. No harm, no foul as of yet. But boy, oh boy, man, they're asking for it here early. Mike Cramner, though, doing a good job staying committed to that 950, and they're holding firm there in 1 and 2. And I think if you're Mike Cramner, that's exactly what you want to do. I believe we limited the fuel load in these things this season, so we're going to have to pit, and that's definitely going to make things interesting. As you see the 70 of Mike Cramner, he's lagging a little bit. That's the car we're selected on. We'll make a change here. There's some guys trying to make that run on the outside. We got Greg Parmalee getting some help from the general, Andy Patton. Andy just can't get close enough, though, to really help him and give him that bump, and that's what you're going to need. You're going to need him bumping that 4, and you're going to need Roger so close to that 87. You can't even fit a stack of notebook paper in between them. You want to get real close, but you don't want to push. That's the goal here when you're that third car in line. The general still trying to make it work, but you see too big a gap here to the 4, and Greg Parmalee it's one of those things where you almost want to pull down right now if the guy behind you can't get to you, or if you're not running smooth enough to let him get to you. You know, that's not to put blame on the 87. The 4 may be bouncing around a little bit, and you don't exactly want to get up there and lay that bump this early with this many laps to go if you're not comfortable with who you're behind. Oh, Gary almost floated up there in that yellow jacket machine. Oh, we got a car bouncing around there. That was the general, Andy Patton. Not too sure what happened, if he got a bump there from the Bassman, but they're able to hang on here. Hard charger right now at the moment is Gary Siegelkow up 2 spots, but we'll see that fluctuate here throughout the race. Mike Cramner blinking in and out there. He's gone for a long time, was that 70 machine, and probably part of the reason why you see Gary Siegelkow jump to the outside. So we see Tim Chapman and Andy Patton get close to touching. Tim in that 37 Goodwrench machine. Looking to the inside of the 4 of Greg Parmalee here, trying to get up into the top 5. Still a long, long way to go at Daytona. Plenty of time to get it done. We got Rhonda out there. Good to have you back, Rhonda. We know you're rooting for Roger, and Roger, he's that man out front in that 950. If you're not familiar with Roger Shank, you better get familiar. He didn't show up to every race last season, but when he did, he was finishing up towards the front. I expect nothing less. Him and that, I really wouldn't be surprised if the top 3 right now were the top 3 in points at the end of the season. Mike Cramner. Oh, Gary Siegelkow, excuse me. That was him bouncing. I almost said Mike Cramner. Gary, not too sure if he got a push there, if he just got a little squirrely grabbing the wheel, but that's going to cost the top line a bunch of time here as he was up to the outside almost of the 70 of Mike Cramner. And let that bottom lane move up. He pulls down, tries to pull some side draft off that 70, and this is what I mean. He's doing this by himself. And he's not getting much help from behind. He's going to pull off the 950. Gary doing a good job of working that side draft here at Daytona. Almost 3 wide. The General looking to make things a little spicy here. He's got the chocolate water machine, Terry Landis, in the 161. He would have pushed him to it too. Terry, he'll go with you if he thinks you're smooth. We've talked to him about it. And that's just Terry's pet peeve here. You got to be smooth and got to be able to hold your line. As we are going to click back into this real quick, because I want to be able to bring this up when we go to that through the next turn. I can see it fragging out a little bit, getting too red on the meter. There was one of them. And this one not too bad. And apparently now they made it. You got to click F12 to get the camera to change. That's why. Okay. I used to be able to cheat and leave that edit screen up, and it would still rotate cameras through the scene, but it doesn't anymore, and that means nothing to you, but the top 3 stay the same. Oh, Andy Patton bounces up into the wall. That puts Terry Landis in the wall. Steve Maurer did a good job of checking up. There wasn't a wreck just yet, but Terry's got to get in line. He doesn't want to lose the draft here. That's absolutely everything, and I'm sure here, can we get a view of the right side of this? Didn't look too bad, actually. There, we got a pretty decent view of it, so have to see here. He'll be able to tuck right down in line. I don't expect a big issue here for the 161. And then as soon as I don't expect a big issue here. Somehow I clicked the car logo. Shaggy didn't even know he changed that. And Terry Landis, man, there is a big issue. He's going to lose this draft. This is not good here for the Desert Demon. He has got to drop the hammer if he wants to be able to run these guys down. Let's see. All right, Shaggy jumped the gun. He stayed close enough. He's going to be able to reel him back in, but little too close for comfort, the Desert Demon, and sees those guys in front of him. Now, if Andy Patton does not get in line and they keep side drafting off each other, it's going to be a bad deal. But Andy may have actually been doing that. Come to think of it, to reel Terry back in here. They may want to go at it again. One more shot. But battle turning up here up front. Roger Schenk getting all the pushes he needs from his best friend there in the 70, Mike Cramner. Can Gary Sigelkow get some help as we got a lap car, I believe, re-entering here? That's Armando Melgoza as we look 3 wide. Oh, boy. Roger floating up here, getting up, not giving that 25 any room to come down and suck off of him. In fact, he wants to do the opposite. He wants to pull away from him, try to get out of that bubble. But as we're side by side at the line, give it to the 950. What do you do here if you're Gary Sigelkow? Oh, man, you don't want to do that. Gets into the side of the 950, hikes up the racetrack, and he goes down, tries to pull some side draft. He gets a big run. He's got a Steam in Steve King Foundation pace truck driven by the Bassman Roger Craig, giving him one heck of a push going down the backstretch at Daytona. Oh! Oh! Roger floated up a little bit, came back down, and just like that, we're under caution here at the Daytona International Speedway. And that's going to trap some drivers a lap down, I'd think, here. iRacing doesn't want to give us the spot where that accident happened, so we're going to have to go back and do this ourselves here. Let's find a little better camera for this. Where is Shaggy's blimp camera? There we go. That took forever for me to find. This one's at the bottom now for some reason. Like I say, iRacing in that update, they patched things. You can see Roger, he floats up. I mean, you can see him coming up, gets into the side of the 25. And Mike Cramner, I mean, he's got to go there. And Roger tries to come back down and just not clear. And we're under caution. John Rayner then hard into the wall in the 302. A wicked hit for John Rayner. Really smashed that thing up. And I imagine he had to tow. So we'll have to see. It's got the leader right now is Greg Parmalee here. So this is weird. I'm not sure if it's, telling Greg to wait for the pace car here or what, but he's a full lap ahead of everyone now, and I can't imagine that was the way that was supposed to be. Could be wrong here. Andy Patton coming around too, so I don't really know. But I can tell you for certain, we did have this issue in another race, I thought. Oh, wait, no, actually in another league that I did. Kokomo, that's been a problem, so not too sure if maybe it's given some drivers wrong things, but if it doesn't want to change this, I've got a tough time believing it's wrong. So I'm not too sure. They may want to have Greg come to a stop here if it's showing him a lap ahead of everyone and let everyone back around, because with only 10 to go, you don't want to, you're not expecting another caution, and if he is a full lap ahead of everyone, can't be right. And yeah, they do have Greg coming to a stop here now. Oh, what's up, Isaac? Rooting for Gary tonight. Yeah, Rhonda, oh no is right, but he's got plenty of time here to kick the dust off and go back at it again, so we'll have to see. Not going to be easy to come through the field, but if you want to do it anywhere, you want to do it at Daytona, that's for sure. And I imagine here as field rolls around, the lights may kick back on. I'm not too sure, just because we have a stationary car sitting. We'll have to see here. I'm gonna find out as soon as you do. But I believe Tim and some of these guys pitted the lap before the accident, so they may be able to make it the rest of the way on gas here. It's gonna be close. And I don't believe caution laps count. So with caution laps not counting, that makes them waste more fuel because they're just driving around the racetrack. So we're coming up on Greg Parmalee. Not too sure where he's supposed to be dropping in line here. But I imagine we've been treated to some damn good racing here, and, well, I don't want to spoil the party, but I think we may have some sour candy here coming to the top because with 10 to go, its elbows are going to get out. And, well, there we go. I told you, right when the pace car got up close, those lights were going to go back on. And we'll go around one more time here. So with that in mind, let me see here. I'll run down to the 37's Discord here, and we'll see if we can get a word. Hey, Tim, your son in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Do you have enough gas left to go the way?
I believe so. I topped it off there when I was in the pits. I'm not sure what's going on here right now. iRacing saying I'm 11th, but it's saying stay behind the pace car.
Yeah, I don't know. Not too sure. On my end, I believe... yeah, that's weird. I don't know. On my thing, it's got... I don't know. My racing is really messed up. It's telling everyone that Greg Parmalee's 5 minutes ahead of everyone. But, well, good luck here the rest of the way, and hopefully you can finish this thing in one piece.
All right, thanks, kid.
It's my dad there, Tim Chapman, and yeah, like I say here, I'm not too sure what's going on. This isn't an SDK problem. Hopefully it refreshes here when we drop the hammer and figures everything out, but this is, we're not too sure here what we're seeing. Yeah, it's kind of leaving the broadcaster speechless here. This is because if Greg Parmalee, man, if he is a lap ahead of everyone, that would be tough. And the only reason I say that is because if you notice, okay, I'll click through. Here is Greg Parmalee. Now, John Rayner is in the 302. Every time I believe he ducks in front of that 4 car, yeah, see, it says he's not a lap down anymore. So somehow Greg Parmalee is a lap ahead of the field here, and that is really, really, really going to toss a wrench into things here as we go. Not too sure how that happened, but we watched the race. There's no way you're lapping the field at Daytona. Somehow something had a hiccup, and the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. We're back underway. The 37 leads us to the green flag, but Greg Parmalee, your leader, just like Shaggy said. Oh, no, never mind. Now it refreshes. There we go, iRacing. Thank you. That was scary. We thought we were going to have a problem. And hopefully Greg Parmalee is able to stay in the race, doesn't back out because of it. That looked like it was going to get tricky, but the iRacing gods did us a favor, and we got 10 laps to go here at Daytona. 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 going down the backstretch. Roger doing a good job there, getting right behind that 37 machine, but at the end of the day, Roger's going to want to win this thing. So you just got to put yourself in P2 here, basically use Tim, and just hang out, you know, and hopefully you got a guy to help you at the end. Maybe the Desert Demon thinks about it. The Jim Bowie to the outside in the 058. First time we've talked about Jim today, as Steve Bixler up into the wall and he goes around, and I told you, we were spoiled there in the beginning. I knew the cautions were coming. And let's see here. He gets into that outside wall all by himself, and nothing. Mike Cramner can't really react that quick, and it is just chaos behind. And we're under caution here for the second time here at Daytona. As you see, Steve Bixler with the new model there brought some grass up on the track down the backstretch, and you got to think now with caution laps not counting. Or do caution laps count, actually? Maybe they were fidgety messed up because we just saw it change to lap 8 there when Tim went by. Let's see if it resets. Or Willie's out there. Or there we go. It went by. And then it went back. Yeah, I was going to say. Willie could tell us in the chat box. I'm sure he knows. But we figured it out here. I think it just went back. Keeps changing back and forth between 9 and 8 to go. iRacing doesn't know who the leader is for some reason. I think that's our issue right now. Let's see here. Let's go ahead. Let's bring up the Batsman here in the 747. Hey, Roger, Shaggy up here, man. You got a copy?
Oh, gotcha, Shaggy.
Well, hey, man, running P2 right now. How you feeling?
I got your old man in front of me, so I'm feeling okay, but you know, he's going to be a hard guy to pass.
Yeah, you know, I kind of was just talking about that. It's kind of a case where now, you know, you don't want to be that guy, but right now you almost got to just stay glued to the back of that 37 and use him for a little bit, right? And then maybe try to do your own thing on the last lap.
Thanks for the tips, buddy. But yeah, I got to start on top, and it's going to be a little bit tough, you know, trying to get in. Guys don't shut me down, and I don't get blocked out. Just a heads up here. iRacing gave Greg Parmalee, they put him ahead, so we put him to the back, so he's not officially in the lead, just so you know.
Yeah, there we go. Yep, I saw you guys have him slow down and fix it. Yeah, that was weird. I don't know what did that, and it's got to be some with iRacing after the update, because that happened to a league I did Sunday night at Kokomo too. It's got to be where they're positioned when the caution comes out. It's weird, but anyway, Roger, you're up there in the top 5, man. Hopefully you can finish up on that podium. Good luck here, brother.
Hey, still there, Shaggy?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you know, the odds are I won't be on the podium, so I just want to give a big shout out to Mass Avenger Racing and them stepping up to sponsor the asphalt division.
Yeah, it is a masked Avenger, because I really don't know who that is, Roger. You're gonna have to fill me in sometime.
Well, it's a mystery, you know, from parts unknown.
All right, there we go. You heard it from the man himself. Well, hey, man, good luck here the rest of the way.
Yeah, take care. Thanks.
From parts unknown. You know, when I was growing up as a kid, in the wrestling video games, you could always create your own character, you know, and that's always my hometown every time. Until they added Hershey, Pennsylvania to the game. Then that's only about 40-minute drive from me, so had to do that one. But yeah, if you're ever, you know, in Pennsylvania, you got to go to Hershey Park. I mean, come on. They have this, you know, me and my wife and a couple friends are going to go up and do it here soon. We're not even going to go to the park, but I'm even allergic to chocolate, so I have to be careful how much I eat of it. But they have these giant Reese's cups where you can make your own and stuff it with whatever you want. Oh my God, check out the YouTube videos. It's literally heaven. I mean, you can put whatever toppings you want inside of a Reese's cup that's bigger than a lunchbox. Pretty unbelievable. And I'm definitely going to have to go do that. That's for sure here. We'll have to see if my dad here in the 37 can hold off the rest of the field, or if Tim's going to get ate up. I mean, that last restart, he's got to be careful too. It's one of those things where when you're at Daytona and you're the leader, any other track you've got the grip, you mash that pedal to the throttle. You go 0 to 100, from that caution pace to 100, and as long as you have it geared right, you're not going to spin the tires. You'll get good traction, especially in these trucks. But at Daytona, when you're the leader, you go to about 85. You go from, that caution pace to 85, and you let the other guys around you go 0 to 100 because you get the reaction time on them, and you don't want to pull way out in front of somebody here. That is bad news. So you just got to make sure that you keep them behind you, and you don't keep them behind you at a big gap. You keep the leash tight. If you let them gap you too much, they're going to drive right by you. As we roll off of 4 there, you can see the pace truck or the pace car pull off, and the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 8 laps at the Daytona International Speedway. Roger Craig sees that opening, and it didn't take him long. He ducked right on down. Here comes chocolate water on the outside. Can Terry Landis get a buddy? Terry Landis with a big run here. He's took advantage of that early side draft going into 1 and 2, and really has a nice run going down the backstretch. He's got the 70 now on the rear bumper. Tim doing a good job of holding his line here smooth. And the Bassman gets to him, gives him a nice little shove as they pull back in front as we enter 3. Advantage inside right now as Roger did an amazing job of getting to the back of that 37 down the backstretch. And Tim doing a good job of... he's taking the beatings that I've given him here over these past couple weeks of bouncing around a little bit, because if you watch this thing, I'll tell you what, my dad will be the first to tell you I'm probably harder on, I'll tell you, I am way harder on him than anybody else. He gets a phone call after this thing whenever something happens, and that 37 doing a dang good job there holding the line. I mean, he is not bouncing. Terry Landis doing the same thing up top, and when the up top line does it, advantage high side here because they get that big run off the top. Roger gives Tim a bump on the entry of 3, but he hangs on. Maggie's mic went out again. Sometimes it doesn't like when I mute it. We're back one more time, and here we are. I mean, side by side racing up at the front. What more could you ask for here as we watch him roll out of 2? Oh, Mike Cramner turns Terry Landis. Terry comes down and gets into Tim. No caution as of yet. Tim to the inside, hard into the wall, and no caution for the 37. There we finally do get a caution. As did we have more wreck in here? Was it just for that original wreck? I believe it was just for that original wreck here. Let's see. Because, yeah, nothing else happened, so they're just throwing the caution. I mean, that definitely caution worthy, for sure, but not too sure either. Tim almost hung on to this thing. I mean, he would have had some damage. That's for sure. Wouldn't have been fun leading there, but just loses the rear end, not able to catch it when he floats back up. And let's watch here. Go through the grass. And just bam into the inside wall into 37. Did the thing blow up? Or was he able to? Let's see here. And believe it or not, I promise you, this is fast forward. That's why your sounds went off. Anxious to see if Tim could make this thing into the pits without having to tow it. And it looks like... Oh, man, okay, so he's still cruising. He's not going to make it, and that's where I want to just grab him by the shirt and say, get in there and tow, because no laps count under caution, but you're going to... that tow time is going to screw you if you don't get back out there. But Terry Landis clearly coming in repairing damage. But I'm wondering if fuel was going to be an issue. And, you know, let's see if we can pick his brain a little bit. We're going to pull him up in the booth here. Hey, Terry, Shaggy up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Hey, go ahead.
Hey, well, obviously we know why you're pitting there. You got a little bit of damage. Why not? But my real question is, are the drivers that stayed out there, Terry, are we going to be close on fuel with these cautions we're getting?
No, that's why I pitted for fuel. I didn't know about the damage. I pitted because I only had 5 laps to go. So I had to pit.
Okay, so basically what we're saying,
guys,
they're in trouble.
Those guys might have, well, they're in trouble, or they might have enough fuel because they pitted later.
Yeah, but Terry, you know as well as I do here. I know you're an optimist, but I don't think we're done with the cautions yet.
We'll see.
Well, hey, man, I'm rooting for you. Good luck here the rest of the way. Park that thing on the podium, brother.
Thanks, Shaggy.
It's Terry Landis in the 161, and... well, the mayor might want to check that fuel gauge here. I mean, we did have that caution, I guess. Okay, that's actually what it was. The 2 cautions ago, 10 to go. These guys had to come in and pit for the damage, so it actually ended up being a huge benefit to them. But if we have 2 more cautions... Now, do I think we're going to have 2 more? Honestly, yes. I don't, maybe just 1, I don't know. But if Vegas puts the over under at 1.5 here and you hold the gun to my head, man, I think I'm going to take the over. Just because, or no, you know what? No, we'd take the under in that, because if there's a wreck on the white flag lap, there's no caution going to fly. And I think we're going to get 1 on the white flag lap. And I think, yeah, we should be able to nurse it around here. So, actually, after taking a look at things, Shaggy takes back everything he said here. Should run pretty smooth. But we currently have 13 cars on the lead lap if Tim Chapman can get off a pit road. And actually, as soon as I say that here, we see him start to catch up on the tower. He pulls out a pit road. Easily be able to catch up to the field as... the mayor here, I'm wearing his autograph right now, getting my sweat stains in it. We'll have to see if he can get it done. Maybe I'm his good luck charm. I didn't wear it in the dirt. You know, I'll have to start wearing it here every Tuesday, I guess. Well, that's if he wins this thing. If he wins this thing, I'll put the camera on every Tuesday. And Lord knows, I ain't going to wash it. I'm not washing this autograph out of it. So you'll get to, I mean, maybe we could raffle this t-shirt away at the end of the season. You know, it's got the mayor's autograph, my body odor on it. I mean, it's got to be worth something to somebody. Steve and John here hold down the front row. Does John Rayner get a good restart and try to get right to the outside of the 75, or does he do what Roger Craig did, just allow the person on the inside to get that jump and then move to their inside? As you see the drivers tighten up and we get ready to drop the hammer as the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 5 laps to go at Daytona International Speedway as we're back underway. Roger Shank and Steve Bixler off in their own area code right now, and I don't know if that's what they want, because if Armando gets a big push here from the 161, if they work together, keep an eye on these guys. If they go up high, Armando now, I guess Mike's going to force Terry's hand here. He's going to make him go up before they could bring the 3-car train. They're going to try to get Gary Sigelkow hooked up in this thing, but I told you, you pull out that far away, it's nothing but bad news. You cannot do that here at Daytona. Got to be easy when you're the leader on these restarts, so you see you pay for it here, and coming to 4 to go. Steve Bixler goes from 1st to 4th at the line. As him and Gary Sigelkow, he could have reached out and took the gum out of his pocket. Roger Shank, he was up front earlier after getting involved in an accident. He's trying to work his way back up. Tim Chapman in at 37, he bounces to the high side. Is looking like you can get that big run on the high side, but you need a couple people to finish it. Here we go. We got Mike Cramner and Terry Landis working together out front as we roll through 3 and 4, looking to get the 3 to go this time by. Whoa! Steve Bixler and Shaggy got quiet there. I was waiting for it to happen. The mayor saves that thing, and holy Hannah, how did he hang on to that? He wrecked twice without wrecking at all. Great save from the mayor. Oh, Mike Cramner. He floated up to follow Terry, opened that door. The 950 couldn't get there. He thought about taking a peek. Here comes Roger Craig in the middle. He moves up in front of Gary Sigelkow. Look at the Bass Man. Roger Craig trying to come alive here as we're coming to 2 to go as we get ready to cross the starters stand. Who you got? 2 laps to go at Daytona. Oh, man, and that's where... Oh, not the best rejoin there from the 012. He goes into the road course. Jim Bowie in the 058. He's involved in the little snafu, but with 2 to go, we keep on racing. Gary Sigelkow turns Roger Craig going down the backstretch. Oh, Tim Hardin to the outside wall. He goes around. Gary Sigelkow. Oh, man. He's the only driver who makes it through, I believe, untouched, and possibly the guy who kicked this thing off. Let's see here. Shaggy doesn't have a good memory, but we remember this camera's back here on the bottom. Let's go behind. Let's find Gary Sigelkow in the 25. You see he goes up to the right of Roger and tries to come back down, but just isn't square. Oh, hell, we had 2 people wrecking at the same time, or was that after? Oh, man. So Mike and Gary do the same thing simultaneously. Here goes Mike. He's like, all right, Gary, I took care of Terry. You get Roger. He does it. But Mike, he gets involved in this, not able to get through unscathed. And then Tim, he's driving through that, not sure, at that point, you don't want to go up to the high side, but you kind of got to lift out of that. And then he gets another tap there from the 75. But boy, oh boy, here, we're going to have a green-white checkered. When we go back to play, Terry Landis holding on out front. Man, how did Terry Landis not come? Let's take a look at this. I mean, did he not get any damage? Holy. Okay, all right. Well, if anybody ever tells me smoking, you know what, ruins your reflexes, think again, because look at what Terry Landis was able to do here. All right. Yeah, just hang on. This thing is going to get so many angles. This is the best, one of the best saves I've ever seen. Going live. And with it going back to the previous lap and him not being the caution, boy, oh boy, Terry Landis lives to fight another day. But man, what an effing wheel, man. This guy in the 161. I just got to watch it one more time here from the, we'll plant right here. So he's definitely going to have some damage there. And he's got some on the left rear. Whoa, man, every time I think he's going to hit that wall. And Terry, with one of the best saves we've ever seen, is about to get pulled back up to the booth because my, oh my, Terry, does Judy have the spare pair of underwear ready? What a save, man. My God, how'd you keep that thing out of the wall, dude?
I don't know. It was pointing that way. I hit the brakes a little bit and started drifting the other way. So I just let it drift. And then when it got straight, I could get back in the gas.
Dude, I'm telling you, when you get out of this thing, you hop right on the broadcast. And I got a camera on the inside wall. Terry, the way you drifted that thing away from that wall, I mean, you were half a car length from hitting it. What a save, man. And now you still find yourself out front. Can we park it in victory lane?
I thought that was funny. It said past everybody. I'm like, oh crap! I didn't stop, so it didn't give me the, put me in the back.
Well, hey man, hopefully you still got some luck left in that thing. Give him hell, brother. Man,
I'm gonna try, Shaggy. Hope to see you.
What a ride there for Terry Landis! Holy crap, man! That was unbelievable. One of the wildest rides I've ever seen in a truck. There, able to keep it out of the fence and. Let's see here. Mike Cramner, I got a little quiet. Was just trying to stare at the cars there, trying to zone in on him. Mike Cramner definitely has right front damage. Terry Landis, he's going to have some damage on that thing. You can see the left rear caved in a little bit. Now, the only reason I say that, with the little bit of damage they have, okay, they're going to be fine in the draft. Now, Terry, with that damage on that spoiler, man, he is going to be a sitting duck. And I understand licking your lips, wanting to stay up front. But after being involved in that, I mean, it's real easy for me to sit up here and say what I would have done. But I probably would have went in and repaired that thing with the unlimited quick repairs. But Terry's the one. He's got to wheel this thing home. Not me. Oh, what's up, John? You can see we got 2 laps. We're going to have a green-white checkered here at Daytona. This league I'm doing here, John, this is Old Timer Tuesdays. This is 55 and older. Here for members of the Coast to Coast Racing League. So out here kicking the dust off the racing shoes and having a little fun here. Can chocolate water hold off the field? Or is that spoiler damage going to prove to be a little too much? And actually, can we... Yeah, why didn't I do that? So here it looks pretty straight. It's just kinked in on that rear end in the inside. So you can see, I mean, from the back here, you can see it looks a little wavy, but when you're in there flat, it's fine. As we get ready to go back racing here at the Daytona International Speedway. Green, white, checkered as Terry Landis leads us to the green. Almost said leads us to the field. That makes absolutely no sense. And Well, either does the run that Mike Cramner and Terry Landis have right now. They both have damage. They got that big jump on the restart. Beware, here comes the 950. Is Roger Shank going to get some help, or is Gary Singelkow going to stay to the inside? Writing's on the wall here, but a caution's out one more time as Tim Chapman on the inside. Not sure what brought the caution out here, but, well, obviously Tim involved in the caution, but what originally started the caution? Let's see here. We have a couple different wrecks, I think, that happen, unless Tim ends up coming back up. So he kind of came down a little bit. Roger did a good job, but when he got forced down, you can see when he tried to avoid him, he hit that apron, and not really anything he could do, and that's a tough break for those two. But if you gotta point the finger at somebody, you know, it'll be on the 37 there for that one. But got guys having to come in and top off for fuel now. Gary Singelkow actually out of fuel in the 25 machine. I imagine that's why he's coasting. He wouldn't have made it if we didn't get this caution. So lucky break, even though he's out of gas for the 25, because I can assure you he was not going to make it the rest of the way. Oh, we got Roger. Pit lap. So Roger Shank pitted. He last pitted lap 17. He is going to be really, really close here. I'm telling you, I know it doesn't seem like a lot of laps, but with caution laps not counting, that's what's making it the lap. So you got to think, this is our 5th caution. You go around 3 extra times that aren't counting. That's 15 extra laps. So guys, need to account for that. And we're seeing ones who didn't having to come down pit road and top off. It's got the 36. There we go. Man, iRacing. Or SDK, I guess, would be the culprit. Really throwing me off here for who's in the lead when these cautions are out. Is Terry Landis isn't down there for fun. He's down there to save gas. So that means that 161 is getting pretty close. Probably had the auto fuel button on, I would assume, and didn't top it off. And that auto fuel button can get you if you don't remember that it's set up to just give you a lap or 2 gap. And like I say, it doesn't account for all these caution laps that aren't counting. So lights are still on the pace car, so not going back green just yet. Still time to pace around here. We'll hope to see the lights go off on the Steve King Foundation pace car this time. Because I know Rhonda's out there getting excited. Roger's up there in P2. Who else we got? You're rooting for tonight. I know Isaac's rooting for Gary. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Don't miss a show if you like late model racing. Shaggy calls a late model league that comes up after this one here. Normally they go at 9 o'clock. Tonight it'll be 10 Eastern. I believe one guy who runs the league is a sporting coach, and their team plays tonight, so a little bit of a delay on that one, but we'll be running some late models at Kokomo, 10 o'clock on Shaggy TV, so don't miss that. My apologies if you heard the little hiss. Shaggy was hitting his vape there. I thought I clicked the mute button, clicked right beside it, and noticed that the little bar was ticking. So if you did hear a little hiss, it's not your gas pipes leaking. It was Shaggy. Armando Melgoza, he decided to call it quits, I believe, in that 531. Got two drivers down. We lost Andy Patton. Well, three. We lost some idiot in the 720. We lost Andy Patton. And we lost Armando Melgoza. Can Roger find a way to get it done? And well, I'll tell you what, Rhonda. You need to get on Roger. Tell him to start sitting in the Discord here, because Roger's a damn good driver. I'd love to pull him up for some in-race interviews. I don't pull up favorites. I just kind of pull up who's in there. Not everybody's in there, but green, white, checkered here at Daytona. We're back underway. Good jump for Terry Landis. Was it too good? You see a big pack here. Big gap back to the second pack. That is not good. And, I mean, they're beating on each other here. Good night. A three-car race. That just did it. I'm not too sure who thought that was a good idea when those front three are pulling away. But if we're just going to go up and try to block people's side draft and not work with each other, they're going to walk away. And the 888 of Steve Maurer is able to get to the front of the inside. Maybe he can calm the boys down. It's not going to be able to, because I think I hear him wrecking. We got Greg Parmalee able to keep it straight. No caution waved as we're coming to the white flag. One more trip around Daytona. Steve Maurer out of nowhere takes the lead in the 888. You saw him back in that second pack. He said, boys, I had enough. He got a run on the outside, went down to the inside, then shut the line off, pulled the draft with the run that he had, and he took that 88 to the front. Now he's going to find himself the hot dog in the bun here as he gets a little shot. They bounce around. Who's going to make it through this thing? Terry Landis does. Mike Cramner doesn't. Steve Bixler doesn't. We've got one car who made it through this thing, as let's park it. Terry Landis goes. Here comes P2 Steve Bixler. Roger Craig. Here's the battle for third. As we go, let's go to that starter stand. Shaggy can find it. Terry Landis holds off. He gets it done. He takes home the checkered flags at Daytona International Speedway. Steve Bixler, P2. The Bassman holds on to third, and Jim Bowie fourth. John Rayner rounds out the top five. But you know the deal here. While these guys still settle down, we don't even really know the finishing order. Let's try to see what we can do here. How this kicks off. And we're going to go to Chapman Racing drone camera here. So we go three wide. Maurer comes up and gets into the side of Rayner. Tim with nowhere to go. He gets involved. You see Shank. He gets involved in this. He ends up getting turned now by Roger after everything. I mean, they're just going hard on the last lap. Mike Cramner, he thinks he's going to make it through. He says, I think I can. Nope. Steve Bixler, same thing. He's having visions of coming home P2. But he gets involved, and man, oh man, mayhem here on the last lap at Daytona. Kind of what you come to expect here. And just like that, comes to an end, and Roger Craig able to hold on to P3, bring it home. So see if we can rewind this thing a bit. And we'll pull this man up for his interview here. Hey, Roger, Shaggy up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do, Shaggy.
Hey, man. Well, I mean, what an eventful last lap, but what more do you expect at Daytona? I mean, you're able to get through the mayhem barely and bring it home P3. Talk to us about it.
Well, when you got an all salty dog podium, you know that something happened, and the seas parted. I had a pretty damaged car, but I guess I survived better than some of the other guys.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you got yourself in a position to run in the top 3 there coming down the backstretch, but when you see the guys bouncing around, I mean, what goes through your head? You just try to keep that wheel as straight as you can and pin it to the floor?
Well, yeah, that's that restart. I was in P3, second one in the first bottom row, and then all of a sudden, Maurer and those guys, it's like they had rockets on their back, and about 3 or 4 of them blew by me. All of a sudden, I was in 7th, but I guess that paid dividends because, like I say, the seas part. And yeah, I just tried to steer straight. I took on some damage, but the car was pointed in the right direction after the accident.
Yeah, and that's what matters. You're able to keep that thing straight and, well, hold off to charging Jim Bowe. He was pretty close to taking that thing from you, but congratulations, Roger. Good run, man. Who you want to thank?
Well, I want to thank the guy that kind of got screwed tonight, Maurer Farm Management. He was looking like he was going to win that one. Master Avenger Racing, want to thank them, and thinking, of course, always of Bill Calder and Bob Curtis. Yeah, I just want to thank my Salty Dog teammates. We just, another night, another barrel of laughs. So, thank you, Shaggy. You do a great job.
Yeah,
so,
man. You guys did a great job tonight too. You spoiled me. I mean, how about that? I forgot to even bring that up. Dude, how about that long green flag run? And I mean, you guys were racing pretty damn hard there in the beginning. It's not like you were really taking it easy.
No, that was awesome. Like, our room went silent. Everybody was focused, and it was over 10 laps, I think. So that was for us old guys. That was great.
No, yeah, I mean, it looked good, and like I say, it's not like it was, you guys driving around on a Sunday drive. I mean, it was guys gripping the wheel, like you said, getting quiet and staying focused. Put on a good show, good run, Roger, and I look forward to a lot more of these podiums from you, brother.
Hey, so let's do some official business because I won't get a chance to talk to you. Are you available for Sunday for the Chili Bowl?
As long as it would be over by 8:30. Like if we kicked it off early, I could, but I do a league Sunday at 8:30.
Okay, we'll talk later, buddy.
All right, sounds
you do a
good.
Great job, and I know your career is taken off, so congratulations.
I appreciate it, Roger, and couldn't have got it without you guys giving me a chance. I really do appreciate it.
Okay, take care, man.
That's your P3 finisher, Roger Craig. But now we bring up the man who, Steve, I wore the T-shirt, man. That's the reason you finished in the podium. That's what we're saying. I forgot to put it on during the dirt, so my apologies. But I said if you finished on the podium here, I'd keep wearing it every Tuesday till it changed.
Well, maybe I'll change my luck a little bit there too. Yeah, I heard Roger said you were wearing the swag tonight.
Oh yeah, fits good. The autograph nicely displayed on the right shoulder here.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to have it autographed, right?
Oh, amen. I mean, this may be a one of one.
It is. You've got the only one.
Well, there we go, man.
That's autographed, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what matters. I mean, having the mayor on there.
Oh boy, what a night, huh?
Yeah, I mean, talk to me about those last couple laps. You see that big group get the run on the outside. What are you thinking? Just time to hold on and try to get through this thing?
Well, I thought if it doesn't go, if we didn't have a green-white checkered, I was okay. I mean, I was the only one out there that had enough fuel. And then when we had that caution, and we went around and I checked my fuel and it's like I can't make it. So I came in. Then I'm quite a ways back in the pack, and it's just anything can happen at Daytona. That's just the way the track is, It just like you looked up front and there was, Steve Mauer is up there and Mike Cranmer and you know, and all of a sudden everybody's spinning and sparks are flying, and that's just a product of Daytona.
Yeah, I mean it is, and we saw, you got beat on a little bit on that final restart, and it possibly, ended up being your lifesaver. You get to drop back to the back, you get to try to miss it for the most part, and it looked like you were going to get through it clean until a car kind of come down the track and tagged you to get you up in the wall. But all in all, great drive out of this 75, man. That's something to be proud of here at P2 at Daytona to start the season. Who you want to thank, brother?
Well, I got to, of course, thank Mauer Farm Management for a longtime sponsor of the retreads there. Of course, Salty Dogs, Flatline Racing Bodies, and you, Shaggy, for bringing me a little luck tonight.
Well, hey, anytime. It'll be on every Tuesday, I can assure you.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
That's the mayor, Steve Bixler, bringing home P2. And now we bring up the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. Terry, man, you brought this thing home probably not the way you envisioned. Talk to us about that final lap.
I don't know what the heck happened. I just got a little sideways. I saw them guys swerving a little bit, so I ducked to the inside, and the nurse just had me a little sideways, and I made it through.
Yeah, here, I got to speed this thing up a little bit here. I want to see how you made it through. All right. So you kind of get forced below that yellow line there. And do you think maybe, because it gives you a little more square of a shot here when we're looking at this thing. I know it's not fun to get forced below the yellow line, but in hindsight, I think that's what saved the day.
I think so, Shaggy. It might have hit me because the truck got a little sideways.
He definitely hit you.
Okay, I didn't know.
Oh yeah, you made some contact. That right front's beat up.
Yeah, that was a fun race, I'll tell you that. Jeez.
Yeah. Now, another question for you, because, man, I gonna eat my words here. I said, after I talked to you and you made that save, I kind of looked over the car a little bit, and you're damaged on that left rear. Not too bad, but I mean enough. Like when you go back and look at this thing, I really thought it was going to affect you more than it did. Did you notice any speed difference between that thing?
I didn't notice anything. I was watching, the speedometer was about the same, and them guys were running me down about the same, so I don't think it would hurt anything, because it looks like the spoiler's still good. It's just the bumper's raised up a little bit.
Yeah, because I dropped on your deck lid. Yeah, the spoiler's straight. It's just that left rear kind of pushed in, and who knows? Maybe it helped that thing a little bit, but at the end of the day, Terry, man, you find yourself at the right place at the right time. Second podium of the night here, but this time you're on the top step. Congratulations, my man. Who you want to thank?
Thanks, Shaggy. Yeah, and this one I had to earn because these guys are hauling the mail tonight. I don't even know where.
You know what? Now that you say that, I'm interrupting you. You said you had to earn this. Which one was harder? That's a good question. Which one was harder for you?
What do you mean?
Well, the race at Lernerville or this race at Daytona? Which one brought more out of you, do you think?
This one for sure, because I had to try and keep the truck straight more.
Okay, I seriously, I would have guessed the opposite with how thin that outside is at Lernerville. I get stressed there.
Yeah, but like Dean said, you can move some stuff around and you can just set up to where you like it, and sometimes it just drives itself right around the turn. It all depends on your throttle.
Well, I wish I knew how to do that, Terry, but I'm going to get back to uninterrupting you, man. Who you got a lot of sponsors on that car. Who you want to thank, brother?
First I want to thank the Masked Avenger Racing for sponsoring this thing. We appreciate that. And then you for putting it on, and C2C for giving us a place to race, and Mauer Farm Management, because they're always there for us, and Yoo-Hoo and Chrysler Track Racing, because they sell parts and sometimes you get in accidents and you need those. Who else? KSR, them boys, they're always fun to hang out with. And
Galen's Popcorn, Code Cart.
Yeah. Code Cart, Galen's Popcorn. It's really, really good popcorn. I don't know if you ever had it, but it's really good.
There's
And
a reason
my
I
wife,
know the code by heart. I've ordered that
yeah,
popcorn at least 15 times. I
I'm
could show you the receipts.
I'm telling you, it's really good eating. And I'd like to thank my wife Judy too for letting me do it.
Well, hey man, great run. Way to cap off week 1 here with a win, and maybe this year we can bring home both titles. What do you say?
Yeah, we'll give it a try.
All right,
I
good
tried.
luck, brother.
I thought I had that last season. Good old Greg. He's
I
he's
know.
freaking hard runner.
I know. We gotta start. We gotta get on Mr. Spangler. I know he does a lot, but we gotta tell him that this league deserves the respect too. We need those updated point sheets going into the final week.
Right. Yeah.
But
All right, brother.
yeah, great run, man. You really, like you said, man, you had to earn this one. Right place at the right time. Good win here.
Yep. Thanks, Shaggy. Have a good night.
You as well. And that's Terry Landis, your winner here at the Daytona International Speedway. Got a little long there at the end, but Terry plugged away, brought home the checkers. Big win for the 161, and that's going to wrap it up here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Huge shout out to the sponsors of Old Timers Tuesday, Malware Farm Management, and Masked Avenger Racing, from Parts Unknown, of course. I'm your broadcaster, Zach Chapman with Shaggy TV. If you like what you saw, well, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the share button. Let your friends know what you were doing tonight. And join us back here tomorrow night around 6:45 Eastern. We're going to have the Hometown Heroes division come out and play. I believe that's modified, or not modifieds. Excuse me. Midgets. I believe we're doing this year. The midget car, and then both sprint car divisions, I believe. I know the 360s for sure, and I'm sure the 410s follow like normal, but, well, if you hit that like button and you hit that subscribe button, you'll know, because we'll have it listed tomorrow night when you join us for the show. So once again, I'm Zach Chapman with Shaggy TV. On behalf of everyone here, all the admins, Roger Craig, and everyone at Coast to Coast Racing, we're signing off. Have a good evening.